And now on the line is Kevin Jenkinson, a Communications Officer with Concern Worldwide. Kev, welcome to the programme.
Thank you. It's good to talk to you.
Okay, Kev, I watched a very interesting programme of Nationwide on Monday about your organisation Concern and some of the work that you do in Kenya. The programme was broadcast in particular, I believe, because this year, 2018, Concern are 50 years old. Could you tell us a bit about the history of Concern and your evolution over the last 50 years, please?
Absolutely, yeah. Concern Worldwide began as Africa Concern in 1968. What's really fascinating about it is that it began really by an urge from the Irish public to do something to help the people of Biafra. They were a people under siege and suffering from severe starvation and famine in Nigeria. The Biafrans there was a Biafran rebel force at war with the Nigerian state, and as is the case now in places like Yemen and Syria, it was the women and children and the normal families who were suffering and starving. There was a blockade. Anyway, Concern began when John and Kay O'Loughlin Kennedy. Kay has since passed, sadly, but John is still, thankfully, very, very much with us. And the two of them, the couple, they were in a Dublin flat. They formed a meeting, and a lot of things happened, and basically it resulted in the creation of Africa Concern. And they got a boat. They raised enough funds from the Irish public to buy a boat, and they're able to ship food to an island just off the coast of Biafra, and they flew it in to Biafra, and they had help from missionaries there. And other key leaders in Concern were people like Angus Finucane, who many would know, a Holy Ghost father, Jack Finucane, both since passed, and them and others like them were key figures in Concern. So they began in Biafra in Nigeria, and they moved on to places like Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Kenya, and got really, really involved in development. How to help people long term, how to help people to help themselves. Growing crops, developing their own food network. Growing food, and providing nutrition to children under 5 who still today come to Concern programs in places like Bangladesh and in Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh, Rohingya children who come very, very poorly undernourished or suffering from malnutrition, and staff helping them and effectively saving their lives and providing livelihoods to their parents and things like this. But there are many things throughout Concern's history which were monumental and a lot of really really incredible people involved. The volunteers, if you were to turn on RT in the mid-80s, you'd probably see a report on Concern, volunteer nurses and other people, engineers, traveling from Dublin all the way to, places in like Ethiopia and Sudan and even Yemen. Concern was in Yemen back then too. And, just going over to help those people who they saw on the TV screens who were very, very poorly emaciated and suffering from hunger.
And it's got to the stage where Concern are by far the biggest international aid NGO in Ireland, aren't you?
Yeah, so in Ireland, anyway, we're one of the largest international humanitarian aid agencies in Ireland. But we work very closely with all the other aid agencies. It wouldn't be like a commercial sector where everybody's very competitive. We have very close associations with other aid agencies. But yes, Concern would be probably the biggest international aid agency that is based in Ireland. Like last year, we would have had an income of, including all donations and government donations and public donations all together. The revenue would be 191 million euro, but they would spend the vast, they would spend that and on all of our programs overseas. In fact, something that Concern is very proud of is that we've won a lot of awards throughout the years for transparency and good governance. But we for 90 cent of every euro that is donated to Concern goes to all of our programs overseas to help the beneficiaries, and we've reached tens of millions since 1968, which was when we were formed. And we continue to do that. Last year, we reached millions as well, and we work in 24 countries at the moment, including places like Syria, Bangladesh, and in Kenya, and other countries around the world like Ethiopia, and South Sudan and Somalia, and we strive. Our mission is still very much the same. It's to eradicate extreme poverty and to help people in the hardest to reach places, people who need our help.
He's doing great work. Could you tell me how you have celebrated your 50th anniversary this year?
Yeah, we marked our 50th with a series of events. So our co-founder, John O'Loughlin Kennedy, has been extremely helpful throughout the year and very much available, and he helped us throughout. We had a big event this year, which was the Resurge. We call it the Resurgence of Humanity conference. It was our 50th anniversary conference in Dublin Castle. In September we had it, and we had key speakers at it that included Michael D. Higgins, our president, who gave an incredible speech at the event. Bill Clinton, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, spoke at the event. Mary Robinson was there too. Three presidents, I suppose, under the one roof at one stage. Mary Robinson was there as well, speaking at a panel discussion, and our own youth ambassador, Arlene Bebose, she from Rwanda, she was there and spoke as well about her story. And it was a fantastic event. We had a lot of media coverage from it, and we had hundreds of people attending, and it was streamed online. And it was a lot of people who got together to discuss our work. But that event was very much focused on conflict, and we were trying to kind of say how conflict is still the cause of many of the world's biggest crises. From hunger. To all of the, millions of people are still suffering today due to conflict, like in places like South Sudan and Somalia. And we were coming up with, ideas and ways to reduce that and trying to promote the idea of more peace building. We have a report by our very own Dr. Katrina Dowd into conflict, and that is available on our website, concern.net, to look at. And that report just kind of, highlighted a number of recommendations that could be carried out by a number of international and national governments to help reduce the suffering of people worldwide.
And I was talking to Breda Gahan from Concern a couple of days ago, and I think she told me that there was an event she was at in Bangladesh last week to celebrate your anniversary as well. So I assume it's a kind of international celebration.
Oh yeah, it's an international. So our CEO has been to a number of countries. Our chief executive is Dominic McSorley, and he's been to a number of countries around the world that we work in, like Bangladesh, to meet the people. To meet the staff, to meet the people we're helping, to see what's happening, to hear what they have to say, and to observe, and also to mark our anniversary with the staff who very much want to take part, and we're very much an international community, and like that event that Breda told you about in Bangladesh, where the staff very proudly spoke about the huge successes. There were people talking about how they would have, come to Concern extremely impoverished and in need, and how, they came through and now have, they've got good livelihoods and they're healthy and many of them work for Concern. And yeah, it was huge. I heard it was a huge positive event in Bangladesh. Yeah, we did other things throughout the year. We had, we issued a number of press releases about different things, like, there are things throughout Concern's history that are quite interesting, like that maybe people wouldn't be aware of, in popular culture even, where, for example, in 1985, when I joined Concern 3 years ago, I was surprised and to know that we have our own anthem. We had a number 1 hit song in 1985 called Show Some Concern, which was really interesting. Maybe it's a really it's actually a really catchy song if you ever wanted to play it for your listeners. But it's basically it was a brainchild of the late Jerry Ryan, broadcaster Jerry Ryan, and Paul Cleary. Paul Cleary's then manager Mark Venner. That's Paul Cleary of the Blades, a band called the Blades, and yeah, they wrote this great song, "Show Some Concern." It was #1 in Ireland for a few weeks, and it stayed in the charts for 10 weeks. And it was the same time of Band Aid and do they know it's Christmas, and also other songs like that. And it was in aid of Concern's relief work in Ethiopia at the time. There was a video too, and a small clip of the video was actually played on that popular RTE show, Reading in the Years.
And did you see the program on Nationwide on Monday?
Yeah, it's very good program. It was we were delighted to work with RTE's Nationwide team, and there's another part 2 out, and it will be focused on Ethiopia. And yeah, we were delighted with that. It was great to show them the work that we do, and we've been in Kenya for many years, and it was a really, really nice piece. It was great to work with Mary Kennedy and her team.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a part 2 out. That's coming out. That's great. Coming towards the end of the interview, Kev, you have a Christmas appeal, don't you, at this time of the year?
Yeah, we do. So we're always obviously looking for public donations. The needs could never be so high. There's an incredible need out there, but we have an appeal which is for Somalia. It's really, really, really kind of there's a huge kind of hunger problem still in Somalia. There's a lot of children who are severely malnourished, and very, very sadly, thousands of children, are at risk of, severe. Essentially, they could pass. The children could die basically if they don't get enough nutrition. So we're just urgently seeking donations for that. And if people want to donate, the number is 1850 410 510, or just to go to our website, www.concern.net. But we're looking for people's donations. €13, for example, could provide a child with therapeutic food sachets for 1 week. We also have a campaign which is called the Concern Christmas Gifts campaign. So people who want to, I was trying to find out what I want to buy for somebody recently for Christmas, and one idea is to go on the Concern's website. You'll see our section on gifts, and basically you can buy, you can spend €40 to purchase a goat, to provide enough money for a goat for a family in one of the countries where we work. Avocado to plant for seeds, €10 to plant seeds for avocado trees, and for all sorts of different products and devices. There is a full list on our website. It's called the gifts. And again, it's concern.net to find those details.